Hello, everyone, and welcome to the playoffs for EGFH Season 1 in Overwatch. Today, we are in the first of the quarterfinal matches between the Ludlowe Falcons and the Sheehan Titans. Following this match, the winner will take on the Stonington Bears in the second quarterfinal. Whoever wins that match will be playing in the semifinals that are happening on Thursday. First off, I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Yukon Gaming Club, the Yukon School of Engineering, HyperX, and Controller Chaos for making this season possible. Be sure to check out their links below. We're also currently in the middle of our MVP voting, so make sure to type !MVP so you can get in on the action. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is VicSharp Wattigny, and I am joined by the one true support, Ben Grieser. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing just fine. I love Overwatch as much as the next guy, and boy, are we heading into these playoffs, and these matches tend to get pretty crazy. I remember last season we had some really interesting upsets, and I'm hoping that we see some of the same a big upset today. And these two teams are going to be some of my favorites to watch because we have the Lineth, who I casted last week, who was definitely a star in my eyes, and then also we have some of the challengers in Toxic Gerbil and Elephant Man, and I really think these guys could have the potential to start this upset. But one of the things we have to talk about is how the map selection is a little bit different in the playoffs. And what we'll see is a pick ban format. And so basically what that means is we're going to see a lot more of strategy, hopefully, and what the teams want to play versus what they're told to play. And, we're going to see some of these more interesting maps, such as Blizzworld, Nepal, and Juggertown. And Blizzworld is one of the newest map on the block and definitely could be the biggest upset potential. And as the higher seed, we had the Falcons get picks on map 1 and 3, the hybrid and escort categories, and in the lower seed, the Titans got to pick map 2, control, or King of the Hill. And like I said, those maps are Blizzworld for the hybrid, Nepal for the control, and Junkertown for the payload map. And if there needs to be a tiebreaker after these 3 maps are played, we'll go to Lijiang Tower.
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned it, Blizzworld, the real, I think, wild card of this map pool for sure. Most people know just kind of getting into the rotation for even Overwatch League. So a lot of these teams maybe pull out some new stuff. If the Titans are going to pull something out here, it might start on that first map.
Definitely. And one of the things I think most people have to remember is that you can have a really good individual player performance, but team strategy overall is definitely the king in Overwatch. And so from the Titans, we don't see some of the higher ranked ladder players, but what we do see, hopefully, is a whole heck of a lot of teamwork. And as far as compositions go, Blizzworld has kind of been a map that it's more or less like Nimbani, if you had to compare it to another ones, where high ground control is definitely the key to winning a good map today. So when you get to this first point defense, a lot of teams I've seen run a Widowmaker or, a Bastion setup even, but most commonly I think I've seen an Orisa Hog. And so in starting with that style of defense, you get a lot of mobile shields, or, well, not necessarily mobile, but shields that can take a lot of damage, and if they can move really quick if they need to, which is really important in a point that has so many different high grounds. Like point A, and then as we've seen Blizzworld second point in Owl, it's actually completely crazy. We've seen anything from dive compositions to tanks, and I think that if we want to see the true upset potential, the second phase is where we're going to see just a complete and utter overhaul. And as we're seeing the defense here with a Junkrat soldier setup, which is going to be really interesting because like I said, they're using these mobile tanks, they're using Winston. And that's going to create a lot of pressure on all these different avenues. And, as we're seeing the attackers pick what looks like to be a Pharah Mercy composition with Soldier, they might have a pretty hard time dealing with this because this Pharah is not going to really have too many people to pin down. And that Soldier will have a lot of free room.
Yeah, I think the setup is definitely interesting, especially from the Falcons here on defense. You mentioned kind of the Junkrat that can just start raining damage down as they're coming through. I do find it interesting that Fruity Memes is actually on the Mercy. I wonder how long he'll stay on that pick. Obviously, it's one of his strongest and is something that will definitely see good play, but we'll have to see as the attack's going to commence, and this should be a good setup for the Falcons to start. They've got the high ground, and it looks like they've got a surprise waiting.
The surprise indeed, as we see this Pharah Mercy take a lot of space over point one. The offensive team is just trying to scout out the defense, and they're not going to find him due to some clever hiding. And we are going to see this engage come out from Stevek. Gonna look to jump on right onto that soldier in the way of putting that damage, get that pressure. And Stevek gonna get the first pick on awesome skills, but Mr. Mage gonna answer with his own on 2 kills on the supports. As the teams battle for point control, the defense is not going the way they planned, and Sir Captain is gonna get that res on awesome skills, and the offense is looking really good here.
Yeah, that was a great start for the offense for the Titans for sure. You could tell the idea, like you said, the idea was to get Stevek onto that back, onto those DPS, get him down quickly. But the problem was Mr. Mage just kind of went ham himself and took out the support, so that in an extended fight, the Titans were pretty much guaranteed to win that.
Definitely. And like you said, that Fruity Memes is going to make that swap onto Moira, and we're going to see loss in the Moira. So we're going to see a more healing-based composition. So these fights, that if they get that extended, they have that burst healing that's just excellent from Moira. And the interesting thing that I think they didn't really prepare for it is Elephant Man on the Roadhog. That Roadhog is just tearing apart the Winston, and definitely those tanks when they get close. And so that's going to be a big opening pick from Snarfles on Sir Captain as they take another fight. Fruity Memes to answer with his own on Kazagi. Mr. Mage answered with another frag of his own. And these teams are going to fight around the stroke, and it looks like this defense is going to look to make ground here on this first contest on second point.
Yeah, Glacier looks like he's going to fall as maybe an exit kill for the Titans, but that was so key to pick off Sir Captain early, taking the Mercy out of the fight. While Toxic Gerbil still has his DPS, or his, AoE healing and his ability to quickly heal as the Moira, just the lack of a res at all from Sir Captain meant that they could go so aggressive. Lyneth could position a little further up. Bacon Pie could start pressing forward. And like you said, it was a good first real defense coming out of the Falcons.
And we are going to see them kind of go in this bridge area by the turrets and pop the visor from Lyneth. And Lyneth is going to get the kill on awesome skills and zone the offense way back. Tyra is also going to come out from Bacon Pie. And Lyneth answering with some more kills, just showing up here, putting that DPS into good use. And the Tyra from Bacon Pie is going to pick up Elephant Man on the cleanup. And again, this is where the second phase hold is going to get really brutal, because that first point was a really quick take, but the second point, we're just at the start of the point, so we could see 3 to 4 more fights here, and ultimately this defense is looking really strong. The only thing that I really wish I could have seen was a hold on that tire, because I think Lyneth showed up really great with that visor. But
yeah, Lyneth's visor timing definitely allowed him to play so aggressively forward there. I think Bacon might have actually kept him alive with the tire, because it actually killed Elephant Man after he had just hooked Lyneth in.
Oh man, I didn't even see that.
Definitely, I think maybe a savior there, but we look like Snarfles is looking for something. Gonna go for the, and they're going in.
The Diva Bomb, and we are gonna see Lyneth pick up another Mercy pick on its own. But the big Earth Shatter coming down from Mr. Mage, and that's going to definitely get this offense rolling on the second point defense. But we are going to see Staveback answer with his own kills, and Bacon Pie showing up too. Elephant Man and Kraszy looking on the cart fighting, and they are going to turn down a 1v1 with Lyneth, with Lyneth emerging victorious. What a clutch play there from Bacon Pie with the Marty Dom killing out Elephant Man. You don't see that too often.
That should have been so big for the Titans. Mr. Mage with a 3 or 4 man Earth Shatter right in that little doorway. Grouping up against the Rhine, normally a bad idea, but they couldn't get to Bacon Pie or Lyneth. Both of them stayed alive pretty much that entire fight. And when your damage is alive, you're always going to be in a chance to win a kind of spread up fight like this. And it looks like we got another one coming, maybe.
We are going to see the Valkyrie popped out from Sir Captain, and there is just a lot of ultimates in play with Kazakh going to go for the tire. Not going to find much other than the Diva Mech. Lyneth's going to pop another visor in the back. And Kraszy going to take out 2 here with his Marty Dom and the tire. Lyneth's going to pick up another kill on awesome skills. And the Transcendence from Glacier is going to keep his team alive as they push into this defense, or this offense. And with Bacon Pie getting another kill on the healers, Stevek is just creating just so much space for Lyneth. And Lyneth is just absolutely using it to the fullest degree. I think he's picked off awesome skills almost every fight now.
Yeah, like you said, it's kind of all on the back of Stevek that Winston providing so much space, didn't even have to use the ultimate at all for that, was just creating space with his body and allowing Lyneth to deal so much DPS on that soldier. One of the soldier's dreams right there is Stevik being in the front line so he can just stay backline and pumping out that damage.
Pumping out that damage indeed with this. Yara and Glacier just really assisting with those discords. And we are going to see another fight brawl out. The offense is choosing to take the lower path. which might be to their folly. But Bacon Pie is going to need another kill on Kazagi. He switched to Tracer. Stevek going to hop in, pick up another kill with Bacon Pie answering it with another of his own, and just we're seeing the same and same again. And honestly, I think what we're needing to see is maybe a composition switch for this offense. Is what was working for them so great in the first half is just not getting the same kind of traction.
Yeah, and it's so late in the round now, only 46 seconds, and with 4 ults charged, you don't necessarily want to switch off at this point if you're the Titans, but it's pretty much going to come down to one fight. And as you said, the defense at this little hold right here has been so good. It's been almost a 4-minute hold or so, and it's been on the back of the Falcons just finding the pick, Kazagi going down early, or awesome skills going down early. It's just been Lineth and Stevik doing so much work with the support doing what they need, and the Diva Bomb.
Snarfle's had set up a really clever flank there to pick up Sir Captain, and Lineth's going to pick up another kill on Mr. Mage, and it's not looking good as we head into this final fight. We are going to see the visor be popped from Lineth, going to get even another kill on Kazagi. Bacon Pie's tired fighting awesome skills, and Toxic Egro is going to be dropped to Lineth's visor, with Elephantman in desperation pulling out that whole hog, but not going to find much as Glacier answers with his own Transcendence, and that'll be a second point hold in a beautiful way.
Yeah, Toxic Gerbil trying to do something with the Moira ult there, just anything to delay. But the coordination, you kind of talked about the team aspect of this, and the coordination from the Falcons was just almost too much for the Titans after it seemed like the Titans took game point 1 because the Falcons' game plan kind of backfired. And yet, once they got set up, once they got their defense under control, they just flat out dominated the rest of that round.
Definitely, and what we see a lot of, I think, or what we saw a lot of indeed was that Roadhog grind composition was definitely just geared to taking out Stevek. And once Stevek kind of, that initial surprise of like, oh, there's a Roadhog here, I shouldn't jump in. Like once that wore off, I think that we saw a lot more success from those Falcons, just because, when you have your entire composition built around, maybe canceling out one person or you're not making those swaps that you need to get those more mobility, it becomes a really challenging game. Because if you look at that second point, one of the key things that stands out to me is how diversified the high ground is. And that's not something that you necessarily want to pull out a Reinhardt for, I think, because Reinhardt isn't one of those tanks that dominates the high ground. He works really great in these like chokes and these brawly positions. Like what we're seeing from the defense here, like they're taking more of an aggressive approach. They're not hiding in the back. They're setting up here on this on the minor area, on the minor high ground with an Orisa Ryan. And this is something that it can be an absolutely brutal hold, because the double shield allows that Reinhardt to just really go in. And then additionally, you have a Reaper and a Zarya. So what we're going to see is kind of these hard engages, which, looking at the offense, I'm not entirely sure they're prepared to deal with that, but they are looking to run some tanks of their own, and maybe even a Sombra, it looks like. So that this could have real potential to be a really interesting fight here on the first point.
Yeah, like you said, Bacon Pie switching over to that Sombra. Lineth obviously going to stay on his Soldier 76. Why change when it works as well as it did? Stevik on his known Reinhardt. This will be very interesting to see the Rhine battles here, and they're going to look for that first engage maybe a little quick here.
They are going to look for a fast engage, and with Stevek taking a lot of damage on his shield, but the bubbles are going to get Snarfles up to really high charge, and a lot of damage going to be flying out, with Awesome Shields looking to find some purchase on the shield, but not really finding the damage that he needs. A lot of ult charge coming out from Stevek, almost has an Earth Shatter online, and that could be the game changer of this fight. Looking to make some moves, but he is going to run out of shield, as this Reaper is just on top of him in the form of awesome skills. And the offense is doing an excellent job of just controlling the space, with Stevek getting completely on the zone for a huge shatter, but is going to get blocked by the Orisa shield, with awesome skills finally getting that kill on Stevek, and Snarfle's answering the trade of his own, but Glacier dropping to Mr. Mage, with Mr. Mage just showing up big today. He's filling the Reinhardt pick, with the coalescence from Freddy Memes, not really getting what he was looking for. But what a great defense here.
Yeah, that was such an extended fight. It was almost like they were just dancing around each other for a lot of that, giving Stevik time to get that Earth Shatter charge. But really, he wasn't able to do anything with it. The Orisa shield was so good, so important for the Titans. And combine that with the fact that Bacon Pie went for the early flank with the Sombra and got pretty much nothing, so had to retreat back to his team. Kind of neutralized what that Sombra could do in that situation. And we actually see the adjustment here as Lineth onto the Pharah now.
And that Pharah is going to be one of those picks that's going to be able to create a big crossfire, and that's definitely to the detriment of the Orisa. We are going to see Mr. Mage show up huge with a massive Earth Shatter, just completely shutting down this push, but Snarfles is alive with the hack coming out, not letting him get away. And Lilith and Fruity Memes are going to make this out, but what a brutal Earth Shatter coming out from Stevek. Sorry, Mr. Mage.
Yeah, and you know, this first minute or so has been defined by which Reinhardt has found purchase with their Earth Shatter. You know, Stevek's first Earth Shatter did practically nothing, and for Mr. Mage's first one to come out and knock out 3 and both tanks like that was so key for that second fight really going nowhere.
Definitely, and one of the things you have to also remember with this double main tank composition is the EMP is going to show up and just completely nullify those main tanks with a huge graviton from Snarfles and a lot of kills to Stevek, swinging that hammer to his delight. Going to find even more on Kazagi, and he's going to get a lot of charge. It already has another Earth Shatter online. And what a brilliant EMP there with combo with the graviton from Snarfles and the bacon pie to top it off.
Yeah, blink and you'll miss it. That wombo was insane. Bacon Pie got nearly a perfect EMP there, I'd have to say, and just allowed Snarfles to set up, like you said, that ultimate from the Zarya doing so much, just really allowing Lyneth and Stevek just to do their damage. You know, so much coming from the hammer. And Lyneth has an ult. He didn't have to use the barrage in that little skirmish, so has it to try and maybe break this. Remember, they don't have to go very far to win this map.
They definitely don't have to go far. And that double maintain composition is, again, we're going to see a real struggle on the way to the high ground. So I'm interested to see how they're going to contest this cart. Because we see Snarfles pushing it with a little bit of help from Bacon Pie, and it looks like they are going to drop to finally contest it and bring it out. But Lyneth looking to make the barrage play, not going to find all the kills that he wants, but Awesome Skills is going to pop the Death Loss and going to find Glacier with Kazagi answering out a kill on Lyneth. Pretty Memes popping the Valkyrie and getting that huge res, but it looks like the offense is going to be stymied for now, and they are going to look to hold in this choke, and this is definitely what we need to see. You know, this double maintain composition is one of those choke dominating compositions that we have to see these fights be taken at close range. Like, as soon as the offense gets control of the high ground, it's going to be a real struggle, because you have to remember, it's only a ticking time bomb before we see another EMP Graviton combo.
Yeah, and the real key of that fight was the fact that the barrage did so little compared to the Death Blossom. Once again, it was a kind of an ult difference. But here we go, the offense looks like they have the high ground, and they're trying to drop in.
They are trying to drop in, and they do take a lot of space, taking the fight to the end of the second point. We are going to see the Earth Shatter come out from Stevek. Not going to find all that he needs, but is going to find one kill in the way of Awesome Skills. And we see that Zarya is dueling it out on point while the main tanks square off with supports. And Mr. Mage getting another huge Earth Shatter, but the beat shot from Glacier is going to keep Stevek alive. We are going to see the Coalescence from Moira coming out with a barrage on Lyneth on cart, and it looks like the defense almost forgot about the cart, but a huge pin coming out on Mr. Mage from Fruity Memes, and another EMP from Bacon Pie, but that EMP wasn't as successful, but it is going to find a couple kills on Mr. Mage with lacking a shield, and Awesome Skills answering out with another kill on Lyneth. The battle for the cart and the match is definitely underway, with Elephant Man switching over to the D.Va, trying to just buy his team some time, and we are going to see the defense work out there.
Yeah, it should be a hold for a little bit while the Falcons regroup. That was so split. Like you said, they were at the end of point 2 practically at the beginning of that fight, and it looked like the Zarya battle might end of the map. Bacon Pie, ooh, not where you want to be.
Going down early to an easy pick. And you have to remember, there's only a minute left, and even though the card is close, it doesn't matter how close it is if it doesn't get to the end. This is a do or die situation for the offense here. We are going to see Lyneth swap around some more. I saw Genji pick it, now he's on Reaper, and it looks like what they're going to do is they're going to go in for an all-in investment on the Graviton. And they do have this Bacon Pie looking for a purchase on the flank, but he's going to stealth in and look to zone out Awesome Skills, but is going to go for the hack on the D.Va, but not going to find much other than a big hammer to the face and Sir Captain's damage. But the Graviton from Snarfle is going to come out, but with a counter Graviton from Kazagi, and that counter Graviton is going to look to be all that they need as they find out again, Mr. Mage swinging with a lot of kills from Awesome Skills. And this is the absolute pinnacle of the moment. We have 25 seconds left with the defense pushing up incredibly far forward.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting. Look at Bacon Pie. He switched onto the Junkrat. Snarfles has switched onto the D.Va. And the Titans are pushing forward. They've already caught Glacier, and they can feel this map win. We talked about Blizzworld maybe being a catalyst. Lyneth picks up a kill, but is it going to be enough for the Falcons?
it might not be, but Mr. Mage went really far forward and got a 4-man shatter, but didn't find all the kills because there wasn't a lot of follow-up. We are going to see Freddy Means pop the Coalescence with a Diva Bomb in the sky, and a Glacier is dropping the beat. The defense is looking to have the man advantage and the respawn on this cart as they battle for the map win. With not much damage being found, the Moira healing is just too good, but Fruity Meme's dropping, so we see a lot of kills. With Lenneth popping the Death Blossom, gonna find 2 in the way of the Diva, but Mr. Mage is still here swinging, and Mr. Mage is one of those people that is gonna drop right as I say that. Not having that Earth Shatter, but another Coalescence from Toxic Gerbil with a Visor from Awesome Skills, and a huge Graviton from Kazagi. Kazagi looking to clutch this out, putting the pressure on Lenneth. And Snarfles, who are just in a death brawl to their fight, but the cart almost E9s, and Toxic Gerbil is the last one left with Sir Captain trying to make this work, but Lenneth has just been putting down the damage. This Reaper pick coming in absolutely clutch, and he's almost with another Death Blossom online. Elephant Man dropping, but Mr. Mage is just this incredible stagger, and I don't know if it's going to do it, but I think Lenneth might have brought it out as he cancels out the Earth Shatter from Mystery Mage, and in the last second turn of events, we did see the offense take that.
That was absurd, Del. How did the Falcons clutch that? I mean, they looked in no way to win that, and it, like you said, it was a beautiful Graviton Surge, and we're gonna look at the play of the game, and Stevic with that beautiful, swinging the hammer, like you said, swinging freely. That's a happy Rhine as they took that first point. But going back to that game-winning push, it looked so good. It looked so good for the Titans because Kazagi got the Graviton that you want to see in that instance. They were able to push the damage, and then it seemed like they just couldn't kill Lenneth. And that seems to be the, phase of this game is you can't kill Lenneth.
No, you definitely. I mean, I don't know if you watch much Twitch, but did you watch Ninja streaming with Drake there? a couple weeks ago?
Dude, who didn't watch that?
Exactly, and one of the things that you have to remember is that Ninja put Drake in his backpack, and I have to say, Lenneth did much of the same to our delight. I mean, I've never quite seen one player make just such a huge impact play. There was a lot of people in that fight, but Lenneth was definitely the core person, just holding it down. And one of the things that I think you have to remember is that, we'll call this the Dell's Folly, because I cannot count the amount of times that I've made this call where Mr. Mage, it looked like, went so far forward for this Earth Shatter, and I've done similar plays myself where I just it's last fight, let's push in, let's go crazy, and you hit this great play and you're like, why didn't I win? And it's because you pushed too far forward and you kind of brought your team out of position. Because one of the things you have to remember is that defense is not about anything but good positioning. The biggest advantage on defense is that you have excellent positioning, and you need to use that position as an advantage. And what we saw is Mr. Mage, he said Earth Shatter, and he screamed it and he thought it was all good, but again, you gave up all this positioning and just let the offense do what they want. Because again, when you come to these second points, it's a lot different, because when you're on a first point or a capture point, like let's say a Koth round that we're heading into, or let's say that you're heading into a map with basically an equal journey from each time. So like if we're on a control point, it's an equal distant spawn advantage. So if I'm in Nepal, let's say, for example, if I'm in one part of the map and I'm in another part of the map and I spawn on either side, it's the same time. But on a second point like Blizzard World and a Streets phase, if you will, there's a big advantage based on where the card is. And so what we saw in that overtime is that advantage being used to the fullest on the form of the attackers, because the card was so close to the attack and they didn't have to push it that far that basically all the offense had to do is just stay alive, because that journey back to the point after they die is about a lot, it's a whole heck of a lot shorter than the defense. And so ultimately what we saw is that because Lenneth was able to secure those trades and get more kills than the defense, we saw a huge advantage come out in the way of the Falcons, and that's ultimately why they were able to take that success, because Lenneth was able to just show up when his team needed him the most.
Yeah, and we're now on to map 2, Nepal, the control map, and that has to be slightly heartbreaking for the Titans. They were so close. And what is the game plan for them to regroup and bring this to a map 3?
So I think that what they have to recognize is that they definitely had all the chess pieces there. They had the checkmate, they had it in their eyes, they just got a little excited. And that's totally understandable. You have to remember, these players, they're high schoolers, they're not professionals, so they're battling through the life of the eyes of a teenager. And that's something that this excitement is really real. We're in playoffs of EGF, and this is a big deal for these guys. And so what I want to see from them is more or less just a really laid back approach and just play to those win conditions and play to those advantages that inherently Overwatch gives you, whether you're in control of the map or not. And so if we see them take advantage of those advantages, whether it be positioning or whether it be a whole heck of a lot of good ultimate usage, that's something that I just really want to see from these guys. Because you have to remember, this map has gone the distance in Blizzard World, and now hitting the control, this is where the ultimate brawl can start. So definitely an advantage to some of these more DPS-focused teams in the way of the Falcons, but I still think that we're going to see a great brawl from the Titans here.
Well, and you have to think the Titans are going to put everything they have into this map. Their backs are against the wall. This is their season on this map, and we're already going to see a bit of a fight and a bit of a skirmish.
We are going to see the skirmish come out from the high ground control on the Shrine map of Nepal. We are going to see a rotation to point from the Falcons. Stevek leading the charge with this Orisa. But again, we see this double main tank composition come out from the Titans. And this might be a really brutal stall with awesome skills getting that flank in with the Zarya bubble. It's just going to put a lot of damage in the backline. Both Orisa is looking for that halt and is going to find one in the way of Glacier assisting with a boop. Awesome skills and Mr. Mage are going to find 2 more kills on Stevek and Bacon Pie. But another boop from Glacier showing up with 2 kills. And Mr. Mage, he just can't be stopped. This Reinhardt hammer is not going to stop swinging, looking for these final kills on Fruity Memes and Snarfles. And with assist from Element Man, gonna pop the Earthshatter to finish out and cap the point. What a big usage, and still Snarfles is swinging away, but Sir Captain's going to answer with a boop as his own, showing that Glacier's not the only Lucio that can use this pit to his advantage, and they are going to find the first point cap for the Titans. We are going to see this really nice setup from them. We have 3 tanks and a Reaper, which is just really brutal in these close-range fights, and for the Falcons definitely are going to look to make some swaps with the Junkrat coming out. And that's going to be something that might be a really great tool in breaking these shields, with the Roadhog Junkrat just able to spam down that Orisa shield almost instantly and put that pressure on Mr. Mage.
Yeah, but you can see he's waiting for the boops off to the side. Lyneth actually finding a kill onto Gerbil, and it looks like Falcons say, we want to go, we're a man up.
And Lyneth showing up a great ultimate usage again with a double kill on the Visor, and Snarfle's getting another kill on Mr. Mage, and the shield will be broken, and Bacon Pie going to find those final frags with the double mind kill on Elephant Man and Sir Captain.
Yeah, that was such a clean take from the Falcons. It seems like that's been the story of this match so far, is it's so scrappy, and then all of a sudden you blink and the Falcons have an advantage. And you were mentioning how hard it is for the Titans, or for the Falcons to have cracked what the Titans had, but now the Falcons have a very similar, very strong defensive hold if they can set up.
Definitely, and we're going to see the whole hog being popped in the corner with Snarfles, but Mr. Mage going to answer with another Earthshadow, the second one on this fight, but not going to find all the kills that he needs, but Bacon White is going to take out Sir Captain, and Mr. Mage is going to drop in the back, and taking these fights and these chokes is just, it's kind of like the 300 of movie with the Spartans, where if you can't fight in a choke where all your people are lined up corner to corner, what the Titans need to do is get control of this space, because Elephant Man and Mr. Mage are just struggling so hard to find purchase with all of their abilities.
Yeah, Stevik's showing up pretty big on his zone control in this Orisa, and then combine that with the fact that Snarfle's, it's so hard to kill him as the Reinhardt if he's the one you pin like that, and just not able to find the kills, and it's leading to a 58% build-up so far on the point, and still ticking in another environmental kill.
Another environmental kill, and the forcing of the ultimate from Kurzagi. Now, that Graviton didn't really get so much use, with another Visor coming out from Lynette, but the huge Reaper ult from Awesome Skills, and Toxic Gerbil finding another frag of his own. The Titans have finally found purchase on this point, and they are going to look to maybe even equal out the score with finding that final frag on Glacier and Snarfles. We've seen Awesome Skills, well, as soon as he gets into the backline of the Falcons, it's just doing so much work, and we are going to see Kurzagi even switch from Zarya. He was having a lot of trouble there, but this high ground control is going to be really, really key from Kurzagi, because you have to remember the healing from the Titans is not one that really supports Afera too much, so we're going to have to see some extra careful play. However, we are heading into the final fights of this control point on Nepal Shrine, and the Titans are just doing all the work that they need to, and we are going to see the Falcons come from a flank from Dark, pop the Orisa Bongo from Stevek, going to find the first kill on Awesome Skills, and flank is going to be denied. Bacon by finding another kill on Kentucky. You don't see that Junkrat killing the fair too much, but when it is a beautiful thing, and that whole hog coming out from Snarfles, and it looks like this defense is not going to be the hold that they needed, and we are in do or die moments now, because this next fight is absolutely crucial.
Yeah, 83% for the Falcons and now ticking back up. Something about that fight that wasn't ever really seen. Lyneth was untouched. He was just off to the flank. No one was paying attention to him and just shooting bullet after bullet into Mr. Mage, into Elephant Man, and Kazaki again starts to fight down.
A huge shatter coming out from Mr. Mage, but not going to find those kills because Glacier has just been really key in those beat drops. Lynn is completely uncontested on that flank there, and he also got the pick on Kazagi. He made the swap to Tracer to touch the point, and Glacier and Bacon Pie are just showing up on the point with these kills, and I think Glacier got about 5 environmentals, just really putting that Lucio boop to good use.
Yeah, and you saw that the Titans saw a glimmer of hope there because all of the Falcons left the point, so they tried to run in and snatch it, but when Kazaki and Mr. Mage fall that quickly, it's just so easy for the Falcons to turn around back onto the point, and they're going to take the first point of the map. And once again, we talked about the Titans. Now their backs are really against the wall. We'll have to see what they come up with. This is their time, do or die. Any strategy you've been hiding, anything you've been saving, now's the time to use it.
And it looks like we're going to see more of the comfort picks come out with Elephant going on his Roadhog and Kazaki going back to that Pharah. And, you know, you have to wonder what's going in the minds of these players because they've been so successful up to a point, and they're degrees of an inch away from finding this victory position. But we are going to see Lyneth on the Genji here and Stevek on that Winston, and this is going to be a brutal dive composition that not many teams can survive. But Elephant Man is going to find the hook and the first pick on Narfles with Kazagi answering a kill on the Baby Diva. Mr. Mage is going to get booped out from Bacon Pie though, so the fight is not over. With Fruity Meme's going to answer with a res on Lyneth. Kazagi is just flying up in the high ground and just has a lot of space here, but Awesome Kills is going to deny that Bacon Pie the room that he needs to. We are going to see the Titans make that first capture again with Kazagi just landing these rockets like a madman, channeling his inner Quake beast.
Oof. He's going to die for it, you know, cast a curse. But yeah, it feels so big for the Titans to get this first capture because now they can try and set up. Now they can play a little defensively. We've seen Lyneth switch off. He's onto the McCree now, feeling it a little bit, and we'll have to see, can the Titans have a bit more of a successful first hold than last point?
Definitely. Lyneth's going to answer that first one. Awesome Kills. Awesome Kills a big part of the damage from the Falcons when the barrage coming up from Kazagi going to take out Lyneth. So we have Kazagi in an uncontested position again with another kill on Fruity Memes. And Bacon Pie on the Pharaoh himself is going to try to find some purchase with the rockets, but is largely zoned out because his Mercy is dead. And we are going to see that the Titans find that success that you just mentioned.
Yeah, you hit the key point there. Lyneth went down to Kazagi, able to pick up that kill is so important. Take the McCree out of the fight. And then they took out Fruity Memes as well, so there was no threat of a res. And it allowed them to focus on Stevik, take down that main tank. And they're taking it at 60%. And I know there's still 40% left, but you've only got about 1 or 2 good fights left here if you're the Falcons.
Definitely 1 or 2 fights indeed, and we are going to see these lesser fights come in with the offense appearing to take the left side and going towards the hut with a look for Mr. Mage because he's really eyeing that Earth Shatter. Is going to pop it, going to find a couple of different people. We are going to see Starfle's demech, and we are going to see Mr. Mage die for that though with the Glacier answering with his own kill. Awesome Kills looking for the flank. The other gets shut down, but not the flashbang getting popped a little too early. Gonna find a double kill to Death Blossom, and 90% left. This is the final fight. Freemium's gonna get Snarfles back up, but Gerbil gonna get Elephant Man herself. And this last fight with Kazagi flanking with a barrage, gonna find Free Memes, so no more mercy and a weak healing. But Glacier is popping the beat. With another beat coming out from Sir Captain, we have 4 men alive on this Titan squad. Mr. Mage is a big part of this, swinging his hammer, gonna get a kill on Glacier. The high noon from Lyneth gonna get Sir Captain though, but Kazaki and Mr. Mage are just absolutely unstopped as the damage is just coming out. Elephant Man getting the hook on Lyneth, gonna find that kill. Kazaki is trying to put some more damage on Fruity Memes. Fruity Memes is not gonna get killed because Stevek has taken him out himself with the Winston. So Elephant Man is just in this fight. He's trying to win it for his team. Gonna get a huge hook on Fruity Memes, but not gonna find the kill. And Toxic Gerbil is definitely going down to Stevek, who's getting some more kills and just holding it down. The whole lot coming up from Elephant Man. These reinforcements are coming in quick, and Mr. Mage is looking to set up this Earth Shatter. Gonna find a big one, hopefully soon. But maybe not. He's gonna save it with trying to get a pill on off of Fruity Memes. And this Falcon squad are finding purchase again in these clutch moments.
Yeah, that was so key for the Falcons. 99%, and with as long as that overtime was ticking off, it wasn't going to take much if they left point. But you felt like the Titans needed to regroup there. They kind of needed to let that fight go. They're at 99%. They have a couple of fights they can try and pull out here. They have time, and they were just kind of lambs to the slaughter for a little bit as they kept just running onto the point trying to end it then and there. Lenneth is down.
Lenneth is down to a big hook from Elephant Man, but the Snarfles is going to find a kill on Toxic Dribble with the Diva. Mr. Major's going to pin in, not going to find the kill that he wanted. Bacon Pie taking out Sir Captain. And again, one fight win is all you need, so these investments of ultimates definitely need to come in a later fight. Awesome Skills and Elephant Man are just kind of in a staggered fight where they're not going to do much but other than feed ultimate charge. And one of the things that you have to agree with is that the Titans do not have time, or the Titans do have time, but they do not have ultimates. There's not a real big combination here, but we are going to hopefully see Kazagi just show up with the big barrage, because that's been the name of this point, because Lenneth has not been putting all the pressure he needs, and I think that's why he swapped to the Soldier 76 instead of the McCree. And so we are going to see a little bit more pressure on Kazagi.
Yeah, he wants that hit scan. He wants to take out this Pharah, and their ults are coming. 91% on Awesome Skills, 90% now. Elephant Man has his. It's still 78 on the Valkyrie. That's going to be huge for Gerbil. Mr. Mage goes for the Earthshatter. They take out Bacon Pie. Is this the fight?
This might be the fight, as the huge barrage coming in from Kazagi with that Earthshatter, and we still have a Whole Hog and a Death Blossom online. Whole Hog coming out from Elephant Man with a lot of damage coming out from the Valkyrie boost. Gonna take out Lenneth and Freddy Memes, and Kazaki just, again, he can't be stopped with another kill on Bacon Pie. A beat drop coming out from Glacier, but Stevek is the last man alive as the reinforcements come in from Snarfles and Glacier. And this is do or die, and they are doing it seems like.
Yeah, they're just trying to get people in. There's the Visor from Lenneth trying to get enough, but he's gonna get hooked, and that is gonna be a point. We are going to a deciding 0.3 on this control map, and the Falcons couldn't quite hold. The Titans did what we talked about. They waited for those ults. It was a beautiful barrage and Earthshatter combination that just took out so many people. The Falcons just had almost no way to win that last fight after those ultimates came out.
Almost no way to win that for sure, and one of the things that I think we are going to see is a pause.
Yeah, looks like we do need a pause. One of the teams possibly just having a little bit of technical issues, but we will get right back in, and it actually gives us a little time now, Del. We can digest what has happened so far on this control map, and it's been so close. Really, this whole match, we were talking a little bit before the map, this match has felt really, really close.
It is definitely really close, and that's what you love to see in these playoffs, you know? One of the things that I think I really have admired from the Titans is that they've been, like I said, just degrees off of victory here. It's very, very close, and they're not giving up. They're putting in all of their effort into this, and it's definitely showing. You know, we've seen Mr. Mage be probably the most consistent Reinhardt I've seen in these EGF series, where he's consistently building Earthshatters in an incredibly fast pace, and his teammates are just using the space that he's trading in an absolute great way. We've seen Kazagi, you know, be uncontested, and the reason why is because this is having the decision-making choice of, do I worry about the Reinhardt who's beating me to death with a hammer, or do I worry about the Pharah who's barraging me to death? And these choices are just really in these pressure moments, they're impactful and they're decisive, and this is why we see the Titans finally winning their victory. Is they're taking this aggression and it's great play, and they're all enabling each other, whether it be beat drops from Sir Captain, whether it be Toxic Dribble almost never dying first, and Awesome Skills, you know, setting up these great flanks. Every player on Titans is a threat right now, and as we head into the map point of this Koth, we are going to head into the village map of Nepal, and this is where these tank competitions are going to shine, and the advantage in my eyes is going to be Titans as they look to control the high ground, while the Falcons look to control the point with an Orisa composition, and this is not looking good for Awesome Skills, and with a huge hook from Elephant Man, Starfles, and Elephant Man answering with a hook of his own, but Lenneth is going to answer that out, and in a complete turn of what have I expected, the Falcons are going to take this first victory. You know, that the hooks from Snarfles are just raining them in, and Lenneth is just using that space. He almost has a high noon online.
Yeah, and it's kind of what we saw back on Blizz World, where Lenneth had space. That's something that we haven't gotten to say as much on Nepal, because Titans have adjusted wonderfully, gotten in Lineth's face, made him uncomfortable through this map. And now with Kazagi on the Junkrat, you feel like they're going to do something similar here. And they're going to look to come around on point as the point charge, as you said, already ticking up for the Falcons.
I mean, are going to see awesome skills on this big flank from the Reaper, and this could be pretty brutal. Elephant Man, however, is going to drop immediately to Glacier. A little miscommunication from Mr. Mage there, and awesome skills not going to find the flank that he wants. Lineth answered his own, and Mr. Mage is looking to charge in and make some space and maybe get some point time, but not going to find the point capture. We are going to see Glacier in a turn of events. He's going to show his DPS how to frag with a lot of kills being picked up there. Him and Lineth have been just a real threat on the scoreboard here.
Yeah, that was Glacier doing so well, and I was actually watching from the flank that Awesome Skills tried to go for, but he dropped down into 4 people, and with no Death Blossom, that's a dead Reaper when you do that. So
definitely a dead Reaper, and we have to see that his ult charge is not where it needs to be. We're heading into these later fights, so the second half of this point. We are going to see a huge Earth Shatter come out from Mr. Mage. Only going to find one in a pin on Stevek, which isn't going to find the kill. The bongo from Stevek is going to come down, and Glacier and Bacon Pie are now in a position where they have just so much damage to follow out and chase out the attackers. And Glacier, again, showing everybody how it's done with the Lucio gun.
Yep, that Lucio gun, MVP weapon of this point so far. But it's going to be so hard now for the Titans. 90%, they have to find something, and there's 3, about to be 5 ults on the Falcons. They can just use these at will. 97%, we're going to hit overtime for this last fight.
We are going to hit overtime.
They didn't get on it!
But we had a little bit of a problem. Someone called Cloud9 because the point was not touched. And that is an interesting way to take this map and take this series in the playoffs. You don't often see a close map like that, a close battle for all of the points, and just ends in a C9. We are going to see a consolation play of the game from Toxic Gerbil, popping that Coalescence, and just look at this healing and this damage that's going on. The power of the Coalescence is truly unrivaled.
Oh, I still can't get over that, Del. That ending, for how this game has gone, this series has gone, that just felt unexpected and so unfortunate for the Titans. It was so close, and it looked like they even thought they were on the point. There was so little of a gap there, but it was just a boop. I think it was Glacier in the end of everybody for that point. Of course, he's the one that clinches it for the Falcons, but man, for such a close map, that doesn't feel like it was 2-0 Falcons.
It was not 2-0 Falcons in the spirit. That is definitely for sure. And yet we have to remember, it's like coming into these games from the very start, it's a different tone than what we've seen before. We haven't seen the pick ban, and the pick ban is one of those things that ultimately can be you live by it or you die by it. And it seems like what happened was the preparation from the Falcons had just completely led them to a better victory, because that composition was completely untouched. We saw Lineth working that space. We saw Glacier doing an amazing job himself too. And these compositions and this map preparation is what sets aside these teams. And the difference in these points was not much. And then that it comes down to the final moment of the map onto that village of Nepal, and it comes down to a place where you're just stuck in these situations where counting that composition or figuring out how to just really get in there is not something that we saw the Titans doing. And the Falcons are going to take that victory.
Absolutely. It seemed like the better team did win. It was close, but when it came to clutch time, when it came to those adaptations, as you're talking about, the Falcons were just slightly better. And in these matches, slightly can be all it takes between going home and moving on. But as you said, Del, you just watched the Ludlowe Falcons taking the victory over the Sheehan Titans in a very close 2-0. We are going to take a bit of a break, guys, and when we come back, this same Ludlowe Falcons roster will take on the Stonington Bears for their back-to-back match to see who makes it into the semifinals. Before we head out, I'd like to thank our sponsors once again, the Yukon Gaming Club, the Yukon School of Engineering, HyperX, and Controller Chaos for making this season possible. Be sure to check out their links. And once again, guys, that MVP vote is going on, so make sure to type !MVP so you can get in on that action. My name is VicSharp Wattigny, and you can find me on Twitter at the VicSharp.
And I'm Dell, or Ben Grieser, and you can find me at Dell Overwatch on Twitter yourself. And I really want to thank you guys for joining us today. That incredibly close match, and we'll definitely see you in just a bit. That next match is going to look to start at 4:15 Eastern, and boy, am I excited.